Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session of Topic of the Day. In today's discussion, we are going to talk about the election of Vice President of India. So this is in context of the 16th Vice Presidential election that will be held in August 2022. As our current Vice President, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu, will be completing his term on the 10th of August this year. Now let us talk about the Vice President of India. So first of all, Article 63 of the Constitution says that there shall be a Vice President of India. Now, the Vice President of India is the second highest constitutional office in the country. He is in fact also the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Now, if we talk about his term, the term of Vice President is for 5 years, but he can continue to be in the office irrespective of his expiry of the term, that is, till the next Vice President assumes the office. Further, let us talk about the election of the Vice President. So, the Article 66 of the Constitution talks about the election of Vice President of India. Now, this election is in accordance with the system of proportional representation by the means of single transferable voting system. Now, what is proportional representation and single transferable voting system? We have covered in detail in the topic of presidential election. I will link that video in the description box below. And this particular voting is similar to the presidential voting, that is, it is done by a secret ballot. Now, the major difference that comes in the election of Vice President is the Electoral College. So, the Electoral College for the office of Vice President consists of members of the both houses of the Parliament. Now, here both the elected as well as nominated members of the Parliament are included. That is unlike in the case of the presidential election, wherein only the elected members of the Parliament are counted in the Electoral College. Moreover, the Electoral College does not include the members of state legislatures or the union territories. But the members of state legislatures of the states and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry are included in the Electoral College of the President. Now, another thing about the Vice President is that he is not a member of either House of the Parliament or of House of any legislature of any state. So, the Vice President is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. That means he is not the member of the Rajya Sabha. Now, if a member of either House of Parliament or of House of Legislature of any state is elected as Vice President, he is deemed to have vacated his seat in that house on the date he or she enters the office of the Vice President. Now, if we talk about the superintendence of the election of the Vice President, the Election Commission of India is the authority that conducts the election to the office of the Vice President. And also, it is mandated to ensure that the election to the office of the Vice President must be free and fair election, and the Commission takes all the necessary steps for discharging its constitutional responsibility. Further on, if there is a dispute in connection with the election of the Vice President, so the deciding authority is the Supreme Court of India, whose decision is considered final. So a petition that is challenging the election of the Vice President is heard by a 5-judge bench of the Supreme Court of India. Further, let us talk about the resignation and removal of the Vice President. So first of all, the Vice President may resign from his office by submitting his resignation to the President of India, and this resignation becomes effective from the day it is accepted. Further on, if we talk about the procedure of removal of the Vice President can be removed from his office by a resolution of Rajya Sabha, that means Council of States, passed by the majority of its members at that time and agreed to by the House of People, that is Lok Sabha. So what it means is Rajya Sabha can pass a resolution for removal with absolute majority, but the Lok Sabha must agree upon by simple majority. And there is also a condition that a resolution for this purpose may be moved a notice period of at least minimum of 14 days. So this was a little bit about the Vice President of India. Let's take up a practice question on this topic. So with reference to the Vice President of India, consider the following statements. The first statement says that the Vice President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of members of Rajya Sabha only. Second, the Election Commission of India conducts the election to the office of the Vice President. Third, all doubts and disputes arising in connection with the election of the Vice President are inquired by the Supreme Court of India. Choose from the options and you can write your answers in the description box below. So the correct answer to the question is option D, that is only the second and the third statements are correct. The second statement says that the Election Commission of India conducts the election to the office of the Vice President, that is correct, and all the doubts and disputes arising in connection with the election of Vice President are inquired by the Supreme Court of India, that is also correct. But the first statement says that the Vice President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of the members of Rajya Sabha only. That is wrong, because the Vice President of India is elected by an electoral college consisting of the members of the Parliament. That means the members of the Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, and that includes both the nominated as well as the elected members. So the correct answer is option D, that is 2 and 3 only. And with this, we call it a wrap of today's edition of Topic of the Day. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you with some other topic tomorrow. Till then, take care and do stay tuned.